Surely you've had moments in your life when you just popped in for a couple of seconds to watch some reels or shorts? You kept swiping up and suddenly an hour passed while you were glued to your phone even though you meant to go to bed. Or you sit there, not getting out of the car, just keep swiping up and you catch yourself thinking, how could you get stuck for 30 or 40 minutes on this absolutely useless thing? I made this episode at the request of Alexander, our director, who asked me to film it. He said, he's interested in a doctor's opinion. Why does this happen? Where does the addiction come from? Is it harmful? And what should we do about it? So watch this episode until the end and I'll tell you why it's dangerous and why it makes you dumber. Actually, it's all pretty simple, friends, and this episode will be short, but as informative as possible. The thing is, really, I've caught myself thinking that I pick up my phone and come across some interesting shorts. I watch, get interested, scroll, interested again, scroll, then lose interest. You and I, specifically, our attention in today's world is a commodity of subtitles and our social networks. They are interested not in benefiting you, but in keeping you engaged with the video for as long as possible, because they make money from your attention. And that's why it doesn't matter whether it's useful or not. What matters is that you don't swipe quickly and you watch the videos to the end. Why do so many videos go viral? The videos that go viral are the ones where you stay focused, where you watch 2/3 or half of the video. And that's why social media algorithms are designed so that if you watch until the end or at least halfway through, you'll be recommended similar videos based on the content. In our brain, there's a reward system, a system. Dopamine is the trendy word for it. You do something, you get pleasure, and you're rewarded with dopamine. And your body is built in such a way that it will try to make sure you get dopamine again. That's why there's such a thing as the dopamine reward system. There's a lot of research on this topic. We see it very often on social media. Look, it's all very simple. The simplest actions give you pleasure, and that's what causes addiction. The action you take is extremely simple, but the pleasure you get is extremely high, especially compared to the effort you put in. And since all you need to do to get pleasure is just swipe up, do you want to get it? Another interesting aspect is the second mechanism of addiction. The first is that it requires minimal energy. The second is that not every video brings you benefit or interest, and you are in anticipation. What if the next one is interesting, and what if you get dopamine from the next video? You scroll through 2 or 3 videos that aren't interesting to you, the social network suggests them, then the third one is interesting, and you think maybe the next ones will be interesting too. You keep going and fall into this vicious cycle of intuition. These studies have actually been described quite often and extensively, especially in behavioral psychology. Skinner described this reward system back in 1957. Be cautious of easy pleasures as they can be addictive. But does addiction really matter? Yes, I spend time on social media. It might seem like there's nothing harmful about it, but actually there is a lot of harm. Research shows and proves that this leads to a decrease in sensitivity to dopamine desensitization. And how can you feel it? Well, the colors of life will fade, you won't want anything, it'll be hard to get up, you'll barely want to force yourself to go to the gym. Because you have to do so many things to get pleasure there. Pack your bag, go downstairs, get somewhere, travel. Why bother if you can just scroll up? Pornography is based on the same thing. Why do anything anywhere? Here, simple pleasures are easily enjoyed without needing to ask anyone. Losses, motivation for complex but meaningful activity is what we're talking about. So, for example, the first step, and what's called anhedonia develops. It's also sometimes called anhedonia. It's a loss of interest in life without stimulation. You very often feel that you're tired and nothing excites you anymore. You don't want anything. The colors of life have faded away, and it seems to you that this is normal, that you're just tired of everything. But in reality, this isn't normal. These colors of life have vanished because you removed them from your life. Because you chose a path that's not the one you should be on, and that's why you need to get rid of it. You will also feel it in a decrease in concentration, and your short-term memory will suffer as well. If you've started to notice that it's hard for you to sit down and focus on something, you feel like you have to switch to the television or you need to do something else at the same time. You sit down to work, and after 3 or 4 minutes, you just have to check what's happening on your phone. You keep checking notifications all the time. These are clear signs your nervous system is being restructured. A study from 2017 by Volkov, a book on psychiatry. People with internet addiction have reduced dopamine receptor density in the striatum. Another interesting study in MONTAKVALA and TNR psychology. Active use of social networks correlates with a decrease in gray matter volume in the orbitofrontal cortex, in the area that is associated with, what do you think, self-control. That's why the psyche becomes unstable. It's hard for you to pursue your goals or achieve anything. You may have noticed this perhaps, but today I'll explain why we, meaning men, are like this. Much more often, we are not only prone to porn addiction. Why are men more often addicted to porn? Men are more often addicted to gambling, drugs, alcohol, and everything related to pleasure. Why? Because our nature is such that we want to achieve, to reach, to conquer, to become leaders. That's our nature. This desire to get dopamine is much more pronounced in us. And that's why it's much easier for us to become addicted to social networks, to these swipes, than, for example, for a woman, because their frustration threshold when dopamine drops is much lower. You'll experience these depressions, severe states, and panic attacks more intensely, quickly, and actively than any woman. And interestingly, with prolonged use of social platforms, anxiety levels increase, as psychologists say, and by the way, the level of sex hormones decreases, including, why do you need this if everything is already fine? You don't need to have a high level of sex hormones. It will decrease for you. You'll likely have sleep issues, so fixing your testosterone or sleep might actually be simple. Get rid of the harmful habit of spending a huge amount of time surfing social networks. Open your phone and go to the battery section and see how much time per day you, my friend, spend sitting on social networks. It's fine if it's work, but we all know the truth. Most of the time it's not work. First, write down how much time you spend on this per day on average. And have you ever tried to get away from it? And do you even realize that you have a problem with it? Share your story in the comments. I would be very grateful to you.
I noticed very clearly that if I go to the gym, for example, and start doing bench presses or something, and if I start scrolling through reels between sets, even just twice, I really get stuck on them. I get lazy, lose motivation, and just don't want to keep working out or pushing myself like that. If I spent that time walking around the gym or looking out the window, my state would be completely different. It kills any motivation to work out. Once you start scrolling reels, you become someone else.
You just told this story and the title for our video came to my mind, Swipe Generation. And that's exactly what you're describing. For example, do you know what I started doing between sets? I read books. It looks funny, but I actually worked out, then read for a minute or two. Actually, that's quite a lot. And then during cardio, I still have energy, so I read there too. So I try to combine two useful things instead of mixing something useful with something useless. It looks funny. Press the barbell in the book, press the barbell in the book. But that's really how it is. What you're describing, that you get distracted, actually, it really is very distracting. It lowers your level of motivation and concentration. For a long time, I didn't use headphones between sets because I needed maximum concentration. For probably the last year and a half, I rarely use headphones, and now I sometimes even turn on noise cancellation mode. And here's another life hack. At the gym, I play noise or nature sounds. For example, I play the sound of a forest. I turn on the forest or maybe a spring. And with that sound, I pedal and read a book, and I just zone out. It's like a real meditation for me. Here's a life hack. Don't do this at night, only during the day, because it doesn't work at night. By the way, there are different sounds, including white noise, which actually helps you concentrate. That's another little life hack. So you're right. But headphones can also be useful. I mean, gadgets aren't always a bad thing. You can use them the right way. Cobblers often lack shoes themselves. It's not a breakthrough. The screw goes in and a certain level of spirit enters. Horace Wera, I pulled out this feeling, aga. Because the truth is always in the middle. You will never be a cool businessman if you only studied somewhere but never started a business. The truth is always somewhere in the middle when you have some good basic education. You know the laws, you can't work without them, yet you've also worked. Books say one thing, but real life is different. What matters to me is that I'm proud of everything I'm sharing with you and not ashamed to say it. I try to put this into practice in my own life as much as possible. That is, I try to get enough sleep when I can. I try to eat properly when I can. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't have any bad habits or addictions. That's why you also take some example from me, so I need to be a good example. By the way, I scold a lot of people, including bloggers, especially those who are doctors, when I see alcohol on camera. Well, even if it's your choice, you have the opportunity to influence a large audience. God has arranged it so that you have the chance to influence an audience. Influence them in a good way. Influence them well. You have 500,000 people subscribed to you, 800,000 people a million. Why do you allow yourself to be negative? This is a mass media platform. Why can't you advertise tobacco or alcohol on the radio, but how are you any worse or better than the radio? Who gave you the right to set an example for young guys who look up to you to race cars, to drink alcohol? He drinks in public and posts it, just like that.
There are many bloggers. See, a fitness blogger is over there smoking hookah. Even a doctor can be overweight.
Maybe overweight. And at the same time, can he be smart? He can be smart, but he needs to be representative. He needs to show his values. It's also a question of values. I appreciate it, and I'll share my life journey with someone who not only talks, but also acts. For me, that's valuable. I don't know about you, but I think it's important for a dentist to have good teeth. It's important to me that a fitness trainer looks good. For me, it's important that a businessman actually owns a business and not just talks on paper about how he's going to quickly turn everyone into billionaires. It should always be implemented and demonstrated in real life. People judge by appearance, by the cover. It's very important, especially in medicine. There's a concept called the attention economy, meaning attention is the main commodity. And what we're doing right now is trying to keep your attention by giving you something useful. If something is useful, you realize you need it. Usefulness is essentially pleasure. You keep watching, and examples? In 2021, TikTok admitted to using hidden algorithms that select videos based on the emotional reality of the user's activity. That means they understand whether you like it or not, how you react, and they select content for you based on that. Meta, which is recognized as a terrorist organization in our country, by the way, admitted in court documents that Instagram's algorithms increase anxiety and depression among teenagers, especially among men, since they are more vulnerable. Interesting, right? What do you think the consequences are?
Here you go.
The ones that have been confirmed here in the studies, everything is there. What are the consequences?
I think someone, as an individual, eventually stops creating or doing anything. No work, sports, or activities at all. So it feels like this is even worse than porn, because in porn there's at least a logical end to the process.
And
You can get stuck here for hours. Few watch porn that long, but you'd be surprised.
But the next step is exactly the swipe generation when it got to porn. When you keep searching for better videos page after page, you don't actually watch them, just move to the next one, hoping that you'll find some porn there that's strong enough to really get you excited. So you see, pornography itself isn't very good for you. It causes addiction, masturbation plus pornography. You keep searching page after page. So actually, these mechanisms are used, including in the porn industry market. And let's keep looking further. Consequences for the brain, I structured them. The first is sleep disturbance, because we have constant dopamine stimulation, blue light stimulation of our visual system, our brain. So if you do use your phone in the evening, turn on the special mode, or better yet, put away your gadgets 2 hours before bedtime. Chronic fatigue, apathy, Americans call it burnout, decreased sexual desire. So very often when couples come in and don't understand, their hormones are fine. I don't want my wife. Believe it or not, sometimes people truly refuse intimacy. This swiping, this sitting on social media, they really lead to a person simply losing all interest in the opposite sex.
And how does it affect male attraction when every other release features busty, curvy girls back and forth, and you're constantly exposed to it.
That's also something. It's not very good. There was even a saying, I don't remember who said it, that today's teenager has seen more naked women in his short life than a king did in ancient times. And that's really true. It's not very good that it's so easy, so quick, so accessible that you can get this pleasure.
So the idea is that it's easy, accessible, it's fun, it's cool. Yeah, if you look at it that way, but all of this ends up killing your inner self just as much.
Resources 100%. If you're focused on results, on resources, on achieving something, on reaching goals, you need to remove this from your life, or at least reduce it significantly because it affects your endocrine system, your reward system. You just won't be as motivated. Without motivation, you won't achieve anything. You can act, but only briefly. Whether you want to work out or succeed in business, it doesn't matter. That means finding the strength within yourself to make decisions, take action, and keep doing it for the long run. Without the most important resource, without this fuel called motivation, your car simply won't run. You won't get anywhere without it. So, motivation will be poor quality, it won't last long. It's like having bad gasoline. Fill your car with good gasoline. Not everyone needs this, of course. If you don't need it, close the video and go watch your swipes. Keep scrolling there.
A popular question among young people is, what should I do if I don't want anything? Back and forth. We're even preparing an episode for young guys about this. The most common question is how to motivate yourself and make decisions. That's it.
Yesterday, a guy asked me a question in the comments on social media. How do I find myself? I said I work at a Japanese company, and the more I work, the more pressure they put on me. So there's no career growth or prospects there. I asked, do you enjoy it? He said, no, that's the main problem. We often do things that don't bring us any pleasure. All great things begin where a person isn't just working, but where he creates, where he builds, where he breathes these projects. Take me, for example. Take my project Ipsum. I'm passionate about it. I'm really passionate about it. Yes, it brings in some money. Yes, I'm personally pleased that everyone drinks this product, but I'm passionate about it. It's really the feeling that I'm doing something big. I feel the same passion in the operating room when I'm performing surgeries. Sasha, I haven't done anything in a long time. I go to work every day. I arrive at work at 8 in the morning, and I don't leave until all the work processes are finished. I'm at work 5 days a week. This morning, for example, I went to work and saw patients. I enjoy it, just like in that joke. But then why is the salary so low? You want to get paid just for having fun too? That's why, actually, I think the most important key to success for anyone is to enjoy what you do. And I have Georgie growing up. He's still little. I'll try to help him find himself in life through interests, hobbies, it doesn't matter, so that he understands what he likes. When I was a kid, my dad made me go to tennis, even though I hated it. Obviously, if I hate something and do it with disgust, I'll never achieve great results there. I found myself in other things that I'm passionate about, so the most important thing is to help yourself find what that is. But how can you find what brings you pleasure if everything feels bland and grey because you've messed up your brain with all these swipers, excuse me? That's why actually, in order to achieve success, to find motivation and discover your calling, you first need to get your mind straight. We often escape reality through this. We feel bad here, so we seek answers elsewhere. But in reality, these aren't answers. They're just distractions that make our problem even worse. It feels like nothing in life brings us joy. We want nothing, no job appeals to us, and we enjoy nothing. And you sink even deeper and deeper into this whirlpool, and you convince yourself these same patients, well, let's say not patients, but cases very rarely make it to a doctor or get any kind of professional help. Because they think, well, I've already seen everything, nothing interests me anymore, are you interested? It's hard for you to find it because you're not well, because modern society has twisted you into a knot.
Because you ruined your psyche.
Yes, and?
People think they're seeing useful rails or something else there. But no, the algorithm is built so it never benefits from giving you useful info, not even one useful reel. You watch a doctor there, but out of 10, it's just for laughs.
Hoping you'll get something else now. Of course, we
release thousands of pieces of content as a team every month. Yes, we work only with experts. There are doctors, there are professional builders, but still, it's very difficult to compete with junk content. It's very hard because people still get massively hooked on that stuff.
By the way, many people ask what the secret of my channel's success is, how we grew so quickly. I'm passionate about this. That's one of the reasons why I started the channel. At one point, Sasha came to me and said, listen, that's actually how we met, I can say. I operated on him, performed surgery, and helped him cure a problem that had been bothering him for a long time.
A couple for sure, a couple.
For a couple of years, he saw various urologists and andrologists, but none could solve the problem. It's not erectile dysfunction. I'll say right away.
Here's a question right away.
Yeah, right away. Here it is.
Yeah, that's the voice from off screen, which for several years now I
didn't want to be filmed. I refused for a year. That's right. I refused for a year. And then he says, well, okay, let's do it. And at that moment, I had a crisis at work. I started to feel like I wasn't enough. I lost that sense of impact that I was giving enough. I felt like I was watering a balcony flower bed with a fire hydrant and hose, just watering a flower bed. And because of that, what I was doing stopped being enough for me. Even YouTube, like the value I was sharing with you all, it helps me live and find the strength and motivation in myself every day because I'm doing what I love. My involvement in other things, including businesses, is all secondary. I enjoy it so much that I don't burn out and always find inner strength. And the most important secret to finding the strength for something is to truly love what you do. But that's impossible. You have to find what you really want. I'm passionate about it, and that's the whole secret. You can feel it, and you can't fake it, you can't buy it. And that's why I can go a long time without filming. That's it, you've noticed. I can go a while without filming because I'm not passionate or interested, so I just don't do it.
People often do things out of lack, but here every piece of content, every video is prepared thoroughly. And I haven't seen anything like this, where every third video on the channel gets 1 million views. Over 30% of the channel's videos have more than 1 million views. And this isn't content that's just churned out quickly, like hotcakes, slap, slap. This is well thought out, and it breaks the idea that you have to create from pain, necessity, or suffering. You can work differently, really. What do you think? A lot comes from professionalism combined with engagement, and that's great.
Thank you, that's great. Let's talk about detox.
Let's do it. How do we get rid of it? As content creators, we're telling people how to do that.
It's funny to tell people not to spend time online. But just yesterday at 2 a.m., I was sitting there. I got back from meeting my friends, and at 2 a.m., I was on PubMed, gathering all this, digging through it. Don't do that. For detox, first make sure you actually have a problem. If you can't go without all these reels for 48 hours and you feel even a little discomfort, like you're missing something, then you definitely have an addiction. You need to do something about it. I would recommend limiting your daily viewing time. These short videos, they're actually the most harmful. The podcasts we record, they're useful. It's the short clips that are dangerous. 20 minutes. There are special apps, that limit your time on social media. Yeah, I checked out blockers like OneSec and Freedom Forest. The second feature is to remove, for example, the icons from the main screen, like put social media on the second or third page so it's not very convenient for you. What else do you think?
I think it's better not to speed up podcasts. 1.5x or 2x isn't necessary. The mind gets tense and tired, so listening at normal speed, like 1x on podcasts, keeps your brain less fatigued. Avoid speeding it up.
You need to give your brain a way to get dopamine. It's getting it from somewhere else, and it's getting it the wrong way. To get out of this, you need to give your brain back the dopamine it needs. But you need to give it through the right mechanisms, through conversations with friends, through walks, through sports, through reading books, through watching movies for a long time. That is, you need to show, my friend, we're done here. Now dopamine will come from there, so that this dependence on quick and easy things goes away, so that he understands that dopamine is about a big workout, it's about reading a book for a long time. That's why, by the way, I'm reading right now. I recently went to the library and bought around 20 books. As I shared on social media, I read every day. Yeah, I have a really big problem. I started noticing that in order to do any kind of work, maybe you've noticed this too, share in the comments. When I try to write a presentation, I always end up checking my phone from time to time. I have the television on with some documentary playing. So there are 3 things going on at once. That's really bad, doing several things at the same time for a long period. If you constantly work in this multitasking style, it's been scientifically proven to lower your intelligence quotient. So multitasking is not good, it's not healthy for your body. What is dopamine? Yes, it's called delayed dopamine, meaning you don't get it right after you do something, but you do something first and then you get it later. A book lets you slowly enjoy reading as you get interested and involved. I call it delayed dopamine, meaning you should do things that give you delayed dopamine. Sleep, nutrition, and activity are important. Avoid gadgets before bed and check your test results for any issues. Because in reality, all of this could have already led to some consequences. I won't give any recommendations regarding taking supplements, but I can recommend my own free, absolutely free assistant who can create workout and nutrition plans for you and help you choose the supplements you need to take. It's all absolutely free. I've posted it on my Telegram, so while it's still working for me, I feel like it'll crash soon from all the load you're putting on it. Give it a try. I'll put the link below this video for you to use. Conclusion. You have a simple choice. The conclusion is near. You can be a man who passively observes and keeps swiping up, or you can be a man as nature intended you to be. A man who goes after results, who achieves something, who takes what he wants, what is part of his nature. A man is someone who takes responsibility, carries it with pride, and knows how to endure. All these addictions take away from us what makes us real men. And that's why, if your choice is the path of a strong man, you must remove these addictions from your life as quickly and effectively as possible. If I can be helpful to you in this, for example, through this video or through my other social networks, then please, as they say, welcome. I'll be glad to help. And I will also be grateful to you for valuing my work so highly, for turning the words I address to you through social networks into action and positive results. Because that's exactly what motivates me and allows me to come every day to film, to do this after work, after I've performed surgery or whatever else. Yeah. I may not have much energy, but for things like this, thanks to your feedback, I will always find the strength within myself. Have a good day.